You ever have an idea that's like so ridiculous, you just don't know if you're genius or insane? Like, I imagine that's how business owners, scientists, and inventors feel. They're just basically walking around thinking of things that are crazy until they become common. I mean, do you seriously think Alexander Graham Bell was completely sane when he thought up the telephone? In a world of long-winded letters, telegraphs, and the railway, he thought, I wonder if I can have a conversation with someone through a cup. Well, today I have one of those crazy ideas that I wanted to run by you. And like all crazy ideas, I'm taking from an already existing concept and creating something new. Yes, just like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and the Spork, I wanted to make something good, great. And that is cycle studios. No, not just any cycle studio, a mobile cycle studio. I used to be big into cycling, but I had to quit because, I got hit by too many cars. And before you ask, 3 times is my limit, or my personal best, if you're an optimist. But cycle studios scratch that itch without risking me becoming roadkill. Except, of course, you're never really truly safe from getting hit by sweat flung off an overzealous participant who's training like they're trying to sweat out all the regrets of 2020. And then came the great cycle boom. Studios on every corner, Peloton entering the ring with their at-home bikes. It was like Oprah was handing out studios. But then COVID hit, and suddenly we saw a huge downturn. Studios were closing faster than a bar on New Year's Day. And the reason I feel most cycle studios closed is because they're all the same thing. Pricey, and usually in a location that is about as convenient to get to as a root canal. Every time you visit a studio, it's like Groundhog Day. You walk in, grab a bike, set it up, and pray that the last instructor had the common decency to turn down the volume before they left. Look, I get it. We all get a little turned up when our heart rate climbs, sweat pours, and the beat drops. Meanwhile, you're clutching the handlebars, hoping the tightness in your chest is just from the tank top you bought one size too small, thinking you'd eventually slim down into it. Pro tip, just buy the damn shirt that fits. Function over fashion, okay? But aside from the instructor and the nagging tendinitis, it's all the same. Sure, everybody's got their favorite instructor, but they're often underpaid because they're working for the man, the myth, the corporate overlord. But despite all of this, that hasn't stopped the cycle studio industry from spinning its way to some pretty impressive numbers. Globally, the indoor cycle studio market is valued at about $3.5 billion and is expected to climb its way to $5 billion by 2028. In the US alone, boutique fitness studios, including those dedicated to cycling, are raking in over $22 billion annually. And here's a little nugget. Indoor cycling is one of the top activities within this segment. Companies like SoulCycle and Peloton have made the industry sexier than a sweaty spin class has any right to be. With SoulCycle itself worth over $900 million at its peak, and Peloton hitting a valuation as high as $50 billion. Though that number has plummeted downhill faster than stage 17 of the Tour de France since the pandemic ended. But despite all the pitfalls of virtual and physical location cycle studios, there's still a healthy chunk of change to be had in that industry. Peloton alone has well over 4 million active monthly users that shell out $35 a month plus the cost of a bike. That's $140 million in just memberships. And those bikes ain't cheap either. Whether you're starting your own studio or buying from Peloton, you're looking at spending a cool $1,200 to $7,000 to get started. And that's why I believe a mobile cycle studio would be genius if you just think about it. Because a traditional cycle studio is basically a money pit that eats away at your soul with lease payments, construction, and utilities. It doesn't matter if you decide to start one on your own or get a franchise. You're staring down the barrel of $250,000 to $500,000 just to open the doors. But what if you could chuck those overhead costs out the window by buying a bus and tricking it out with all the bells and whistles for about $100,000 to $200,000, creating a studio with no lease and taking your profit margins through the roof? You can snag a used city bus online for less than $20K. The bikes might actually cost you more than the bus itself, but without the need for a full-scale build-out, the possibilities are endless. Picture this. You're in the middle of a busy day. You want to hit the gym, but the nearest cycle studio is across town and traffic is more than likely horrible. Ironically, a bike would get you there faster, but you're not about to battle the traffic and Uber drivers. Don't you just wish the studio could come to you? Now imagine, all of a sudden, you hear a horn, and around the corner, a bus rolls up. It doesn't matter if you're at the park, residential area, or corporate office. The workout literally rolls up to you. No more racing to the studio, fighting traffic, and rearranging your day. And here's the kicker. It's not just a workout. It's an experience. A moving studio taking you on a scenic route or parking in a prime location, depending on the regulations, would be a dream come true. Okay, maybe a fever dream created by yours truly, but just think about the content gold. Instagram, TikTok Reels, YouTube videos, the blog posts, and the local news coverage would be insane. Unless you drive too far and forget to come back, then technically that's kidnapping. And let's be real. This is a cycle bus, not the mystery machine or some creepy free candy van. But the content would write itself, along with the hashtags. The average cost for marketing a physical location is around $10,000 to $30,000. That includes signage, pamphlets, SEO, and various other tactics. And you could save on that with a mobile cycle studio that is marketing. With a mobile setup, you could have guest instructors from all over the country. Just imagine the literal busload of clients with influencers and top trainers popping in for a guest appearance. You're not just building a business, you're creating a community with every ride, leveraging social media, referral programs, and strategic partnerships, cultivating a network of cycle bus followers. From a marketing standpoint, this would absolutely kill, with user-generated organic content that is created on the daily with every class. It's a search engine's wet dream. Starting with the name of this beautiful beast. Spin bus? Two on the nose? How about city cycle? Or pedal bus? Or wait, what about spin me baby one more time? Okay, fine, call it what you want. I'm just the guy with ideas. You figure out the name. With a mobile cycle studio, you get growth, scalability, and profitability that just keeps on rolling upward. Think about it. With a bus that's 40 feet long, 8 feet wide, and 9 feet tall, you can feasibly fit 10 bikes on each side of the bus, making it a 20-person studio. Even at $15 a head, twice a day, 4 days a week, that would equal out to nearly $100,000 a year. And that excludes appearances and booking fees for businesses and events. With those types of numbers, you could sit back and collect more cash with your own bus, or scale up and expand to make a fleet of your own. Which would mean by the typical year 5, you would be redefining a niche and what it means to be profitable in the fitness industry by leasing out buses to instructors like a franchise, where they can make a good amount of money as an instructor and you make a great income by providing a service. And no, I didn't forget about maintenance cost. On average, a bus does cost about $5,500 per year to maintain if it's in regular use. And since this bus has a little bit more to it than usual, he says kind of sarcastically, I will call it an even $17,000 a year, which is still far less than the average lease in a good area for about $8,000 a month. Think about it. No more dealing with pricey gym memberships and landlords bleeding you dry. The bus eventually gets paid off and you get to travel and control your profit as an instructor, assuming you don't get towed. Okay, fine. I admit it. This is a very far out there idea and is possibly illegal, but I think this is a good enough idea that just might work and needs to exist. Whether it's starting from scratch or adding it to your own existing studio, this would be an amazing marketing tool to get more people in the door and on the bikes. But what do you think? Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments down below? Till next time, my name is Kiko. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you not only want to hear more about my crazy ideas, but also want to know how to use SEO to get them to the top of search engines.
You don't have to come up with crazy ideas like this to get to the top of search engines. All you have to do is have a solid SEO action plan that can consistently get you to the top of search results. And that's where PosiRank.com comes in. PosiRank is the #1 SEO provider for businesses, freelancers, and agencies. With years of experience in SEO, we can help you get to the top of search results and stay there. We are a full-service agency that can handle anything from paid ads to top-tier link building. So if you want to get to the top of search results, schedule an appointment today and become a part of the family.